time. Fan Frenzy's where we're at. That's right, Fan Frenzy, where you, the fans, ask us, the fans, all the questions that you want to talk about. And let's get into it with Paige kicking us off. Paige, g'day, I haven't spoken to you for a little while, Paige. 3 points to Norris, 2 to Leclerc, 1 to Hulk. Hulk's an interesting one.
DNF'd.
Yeah, but he did have a really solid
Yeah, that's fair enough.
qualifying.
Yep.
He was, I don't mind it. The other day, the guy on the jetpack thing talk about falling with style. I thought he did a great job. Not a dud. That's mean.
That's fair enough.
Hero of the hour, maybe. Question. Oh, no. What livery would you like to see make a comeback?
Livery would like to see make a comeback.
I'd like to see some of the camel liveries.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
I'd love to see that come back.
Yep, that'd be good. I'd like to see the Toro Rosso livery back. A lot of talk about
the old one.
Yeah, the old one, the very first one. Like the
blue.
little hand-drawn one, the blue one, yeah. Yeah, the one that Seb won in. Yeah, a lot of talk about AlphaTauri across the weekend. Lots of things just happening. Full rename. So maybe they're not going to be Toro Rosso, though. I think they came out and said, no, it's not going to be Toro Rosso. New title sponsor, new everything.
Really?
Yep, new everything.
Okay.
So, yeah, anyway.
For sale?
Maybe.
It's interesting that that we didn't talk on the main body of the podcast about the Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, in the Alpine.
Investment.
$200 million investment. Yeah, 24% stake in Alpine.
Yeah, not a lot.
No.
Not a lot for 200 million.
Not
is it,
a lot.
these days?
I think a lot of it is a lot of the advertising and marketing sort of side of the things too, promotional work.
When you think Doralton picked up Williams for 200 million,
Yes.
they did have to pay off a lot of debt.
That's correct.
But, yeah, so it shows the growth in the sport.
Absolutely.
In the last few years.
Yeah, that's what they do well, apparently. So, yeah. And you're right. You don't want celebrities jumping in on your race weekend and how that's running.
I don't think it'll be a Wrexham style. Have you seen
I have.
Wrexham?
Yeah, I've heard.
Yep.
Yep,
Have you seen it?
I haven't seen it, but I need to watch it.
It is very good viewing.
All right, I better watch it, yeah.
It is very good viewing. And
yeah.
I'm a soccer fan, particularly like lower league and watching and seeing all those grounds. It's just magnificent.
Yeah.
I lived in England. I loved going to see all those little grounds, particularly cricket grounds too.
Yep.
Saw some awesome things. So it is. It's really wholesome. It's good stuff.
Yep.
I don't think we'll see the same. I don't think we'll quite see the same, but I think it was Paul Cook was talking about a Netflix-style thing, but just in a factory, like the designers Netflix. And I would love to see something like that. Love it.
I think it'd be great.
All right, over to you.
Jordan next, race ranking a solid 8.5. 3 to Norris, great work all weekend. 2 to Hulk, another outstanding quali, and the DNF wasn't his fault. A lot of love for Hulk this weekend. 1 to Leclerc, just a solid race. Dud of the day is Yuki. He had been so much more consistent lately, but this looked like an old high-risk, no-reward Yuki. I don't mind that comment, because he went in all guns blazing on turn 1. Question, of all the current and former Red Bull junior drivers, including Dan and anyone not yet in F1, who do you think is most likely to drive for Red Bull in the future? It's not a bad question. I think Liam Lawson was really, really touted as possibly replacing Checo if he was unwell this weekend.
Yeah, one of my mates was getting really excited about that, and I said, if they're really concerned about Perez, which apparently is quite crook, but if they're really concerned about Perez, Ricciardo would have been on that plane.
Of course he
would
would.
ASAP.
Of course he would. Yeah.
Liam Lawson, I think, could be a possibility to take to free seat.
Could be a possibility to take to free
wouldn't
seat
be
if you want to
surprised
invest
to
in the
see
youth
that.
there. And I don't think Dan wants that seat anyway. So yeah,
No.
I guess really the only question is really Dan for that one. I don't think there's many other answers outside of those two, to be quite honest.
It's
no informer.
Albon would be the next one that they would potentially.
Yeah, maybe.
But then now all of a sudden you're trying to get him out of a team.
That's right, and whether or not he wants to leave Williams, because he looks pretty happy there at the moment.
Yep.
So yeah.
Yep. Could you possibly see a Ferrari driver moving? So if we think about the likes of Leclerc, I mean, he's made some threats.
Yeah, maybe.
I'd love to see Leclerc and Red Bull.
Lando, they did inquire about Lando early doors before his contract extension.
I'm not entirely sure that's what Red Bull want. I think they want to get someone behind Max, but Dan, I'm with you. I think Dan's probably first in line, and as long as everything goes well for his little tests that he's got coming up and for the rest of the season, he reckons there'll be another one later in the season as well. Yep. Otherwise, Leclerc could be, maybe, but I'm not sure that's quite what they want.
Yep, that's fair enough.
Chris, starts with a question, but I'll do his 3, 2, and 1. Max, here's F1's version of the Harlem Globetrotters at the moment. I like that analogy. It does look like he's just doing tricks.
Absolutely.
Lando, well done over the weekend, and Perez, 15th to 3rd. Yeah.
Yeah, respectable.
Okay.
You got to respect that.
Dud McLaren. Wow.
Wow.
The track clearly suits the car, and you only gave the upgrades to one of the drivers.
Whoa.
How do you feel about one driver getting it?
Yeah, I guess if you're going to rush it, it's just got to be expected, isn't it?
Does the one? I'm surprised one extra week means that both drivers get it.
Of course it could. Of course it could. 1 week could be the world of difference because then I guess, you know what, that extra week, if Silverstone's the earmarked weekend and they've got it a week early, it gives Lando a week early to be comfortable with it. It gives the team a week's worth of data to be knowledgeable about it, and it probably sets Oscar up better.
Oh yeah,
than if he was going to.
I'm okay with Oscar if the only one gets it. But yeah, I was like, oh Jesus, such a tight turnaround. I guess the benefit of being in England is that they're going to get everything a lot closer to the factory. So
yes.
Yeah. His question, looking at the results so far this year, was the penalty allocated to Red Bull for extra testing sufficient?
No way. No way.
What?
Would it have mattered?
What do you know weighing? I'm
was it
a little bit
sufficient?
confused.
Nah, like they've given them what, a 10% reduction on their penalty for.
You think they should have got more?
I don't think it would have mattered. What, you could have given them 100%.
No, I don't think so.
I think you could have. That car is an absolute rocket.
Yeah, but if you gave them 100%, they wouldn't have got anything.
You could have given them a 100% penalty and just said you can't use the wind tunnel at all to test
this year.
Aero for this year.
So they would have had last year's car. So it wouldn't be as fast.
Wouldn't have mattered.
Well, they would have been as fast as they were last year.
Which is pretty bloody fast. You could have given nothing. You could have given them no penalty. You could have given them no wind time tunnel. They'd still be running rings around everyone.
We're running a little late tonight. I think it's got to you. I think the night air,
so
which is not in here at the moment.
penalty for extra testing was not sufficient enough. In retrospect.
I'm confused. Yeah, I think it's I don't think it's for the testing. I don't think it's for, I want to remove the penalty idea.
Yep.
I think because in general way that we work, they're 5% off.
Yep.
Everybody else.
Yes.
I think that needs to be graded on points.
Okay.
So if you're 100 points ahead at this point, that percentage needs to be taken into account as to how many points. How many hours you lose.
Okay.
And so if you're 150 points out, you might lose 50% of your testing time.
But then back to what Chris is saying.
If it's a really close championship, then all of a sudden you're going to get much closer to what the close competitor is going to get. So for maybe every 10% more points, you might lose 5%.
Okay.
If you're 20% more points, you might lose an extra 10% or something like that.
Yep.
So, yeah, I think it could be a little bit more. I think we talked about last week. I think it could be a little bit more dramatic, the fall off on the points.
Yep.
So I think that could certainly come into account. For the penalty, I think they got the right amount of penalty for their crime because they weren't that far over when we've talked about the fact they weren't spending on other things so they could test more. But I don't think that necessarily. I think they can look at making the point dramatically different for the leaders. Over to you.
David, 3 to Max, just love the confidence to change tyres for 1 point. Agree. 2 to Charles, looks quick all weekend, nearly stole pole in qualifying. Yes, had to throw everything at it. Whereas Max was probably just doing his standard thing.
Yep.
1 to Toto for telling Lewis the car is bad and you get on with it. Yes, I don't mind that.
I like that.
Dud all of the drivers calling out cars for track limits.
David.
Yes, aren't there sensors? Do they think the FIA can't see the problem?
Yes.
Like that, David. We need a graphic on screen showing who got a penalty, I must admit, to losing track on who had one and if it was served in the pits or not. We do have a graphic, David.
We wanted one during the race, I think.
During the race, yeah, you get a little thing flash at the top.
Yeah, but I'm with
penalty,
him.
Yeah.
Once it's gone, like if you missed that, once it's gone, it's gone.
I think it was just...
I think everyone lost track, including stewards.
It was ridiculous weekend. We all lost track.
Hence, we had to do some of it after the race. But
anyway, there you go.
Good point. Dean Holt, race ranking of a 8.5 out of 10. Really enjoyed watching everything over the weekend. 3 points to Norris. Just had a great weekend mixing it with the top 4 teams. It suited him, but it was fun to watch him racing amongst the teams, wasn't it? Also not bad, as I've seen a few people call him overrated this season. Really?
Really?
I wouldn't have...
No.
Science just looked quick all weekend.
Yep.
Great recovery in qualifying as he had. That was so good as he had the brake problem in SQ1 and then had to do the difficult lap under the tricky conditions.
Yep.
It was quickest.
Yep.
I loved it. That was such a moment, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was such a moment.
Absolutely.
Perez, good recovery in the main race. Stud. It was difficult to pick a standout, so I've gone with the DRS. As I thought 3 zones was too many, as it made overtaking a bit too easy.
Yep.
I think they should get rid of 1 down the pit straight.
Yep.
Thoughts on that?
Yeah. No, didn't really cross my mind across the weekend.
It wasn't. Yeah.
It wasn't glaring. I think we still would have had overtaking regardless of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't know. I don't mind the 3 zones. Shortening them, I think, is the first thing. Sometimes they shorten them too much.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like,
yeah.
They go to, too
it's
much.
just sort of, it's pointless.
Drop them off a little bit, and then if you feel like you still need to go again.
Yeah, it gets you on the back, but then you can't do anything. So, yeah.
Question. With DeVries possibly getting the boot at the end of the month, would you be happy if Dan gets the seat? Personally, I think it's a risk. He doesn't need, as the car is a one, it doesn't need, as the car is one, if not the worst car on the grid at the moment.
Yeah.
And if he ends up being slower than Yuki, it could be the last time we see him in an F1 car. Thoughts?
I think it would just be nice to see Dan back on the grid, to be honest, more than anything. Just to enjoy watching him again. So whether or not he wants it, I don't know. Red Bull might just tell him to do it. And if he's there, at least you'd have interest in the AlphaTauri, wouldn't you?
Would you have concerns that Yuki would be able to outdo him in the car?
Probably, yeah, but I don't think it would matter. Well, maybe, I don't know. It's hard to say.
Yuki's been okay this year. I'm not raving about him. I think Dan would be able to pick it up pretty quick. I'm with you, though. Being in the size car, I'm not sure. I don't know what it brings. If he could come in and blitz Yuki, I think that shows that he's still got it, and it might be a really good thing for him. The unknown, I don't know if they're going to find out enough in these 2 tests to answer those questions of the unknowns, but yeah, I don't know. I'm on the fence about that one.
Yeah, okay.
I'm with you. I like to see him back on the grid.
Yeah,
he's going to be doing better than DeVries. It depends on the characteristics of the car.
Well, that's very true. Too. Yeah, I think so too.
Over to you, Paul Cook.
All right, so Paul, race ranking 7.5. Lando, 3 points. 2 to Charles for splitting the Red Bulls and 1 for Max for building enough of a lead to come in late and take the fastest lap. Ballsy and aggressive. Done of the day, AlphaTauri. The less said, the better. Question, what's the deal with the opening question? I never see them on the socials. That's a great question, Paul, because I don't either. I think it's just... It's a direct line to you, isn't it?
Yeah, and
that's exactly how it goes.
And I know we've let you down in this area in the past, Paul, but send it in on the messenger, and
just directly.
And I'm happy to build a bank.
All right,
I am happy to build a bank of opening questions.
I would like, in all honesty, I thought this week's opening questions were pretty meh.
Oh,
weren't my favourites.
Whoa,
at all.
Kingsley, that's
yeah.
All right.
I think he's too worried about going mountain bike riding more than anything.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with mountain bike riding. All for it.
Side question.
It's just a side question. Yeah, anyway, can we have Paul's question next week?
Well, he hasn't sent me one.
Well, can we just put it out there?
Yeah.
Just send your question in, Paul.
Anyone can send me a question.
All right.
You can either send it straight to our page. I'll get a message on there. And I'd love to have a bank of opening questions.
I would like Paul's question, just Silverstone. So just it's yours, Paul. Make it good.
On our socials, we have like the race in 3 words.
Yep.
What is it?
Yeah. Describe the race in 3 words.
Yep. I want someone to write an intro. Write an intro about the race.
Okay.
For the podcast.
Okay.
And we'll read it out. I'll absolutely
fan intro.
I'll absolutely murder it. It'll be terrible. I'll screw it up in every way possible.
Well, let's use Paul for that. So, Paul, you're going to run an intro.
I want an opening question from Paul. It feels like he's got a couple of good ones there.
Yes, fire him in, Paul. Well, I'm earmarking it. It's yours. I'll make sure it happens. Side question. The Ashes. Thoughts on Bairstow's dismissal and all the controversy around his test at Lords.
So good.
Stay in your crease.
So good.
Stay in your crease. Stay in your crease.
Understand all the cricketers. All the cricketers all said it was fair enough.
Learn the rules. Stay in the crease. Stop looking.
Yep, I'm with you.
Adam.
It's me?
Yep.
Adam. Race rank, firm, 7 out of 10. 3 points has to go to Carlos. Screwed on strategy.
Yep.
Bad double stack and 5-second penalty. Still pushed for the podium regardless of a late 5-second. Carlos was on fire today.
Yes.
Didn't realise he was a Carlos fan so much. Charles.
Yep.
Such a big race for him. The car had speed and real pace and great drive. Max, power just next level.
Correct.
Absolutely. Special mention, Checo. Massive race from the back of the grid. Could be 3 points, but Ferrari drivers deserve it.
Yep.
Yeah, look, I'm just... He put himself there.
Yeah. And we talked about this last
He's
week.
in the fastest car by distance.
Yep.
I'm not buying it.
It's
quite
more
the same as
it's
everyone
more
else.
glaring if he's fifth.
Yeah.
Because you're not allowed to be fifth in that thing. It
Yeah.
has to be second or it has to be third.
Yep.
It can't be anything else.
Yep, that of the day, Hamilton just Paul.
Yep.
Would never have guessed this without him. Whinge button on high. Even Toto had to tell him to pull his head in. But I couldn't agree with you more. Hero of the hour, Albon, stellar weekend again. Interesting. Question 1. I have no issue with the track limits. My fix for them at the ring, yes, this is what we like. We like the suggestions.
Yep.
Pit lane entry moved further in 8 and 9 straight. I think that's sort of what you're suggesting. Yep. Reprofile 9 and 10 into larger sweeping banked corner. Okay. 15 to 22 degree. What would you guys do?
Yes, we touched on this in the main pod, which...
It was the last corner, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But it was also...
the second last corner.
Third, well,
10, not the very last of the kink.
It was also the third corner at times. Fourth corner.
4 and 10. 4 and 10. Just gravel, and yes, talked about that in the main one. Just moving the pit lane entry further down. That's what we're doing.
Yep.
Question 2.
4 weeks to long DR should start of next season GP. What does that mean?
Talking about De Vries's 4 weeks on notice.
4 weeks.
Too long. So he's saying Dan should start next week. We don't need to wait for De Vries to have 4 weeks.
4 weeks is too long for De Vries.
Yep.
Dan should start next week. Thoughts?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, it's harsh.
It is, isn't it?
You don't even get half a season.
Yep, that's okay. I'm alright with that.
Yeah, I'm happy with him going 4 weeks. Four more weeks.
Yep.
On the line, you got to show it. If you can't show it soon, fair enough.
Yep, fair enough.
Over to you.
All right, I've lost it. A new person, a new fan to Fan Frenzy, and it goes to Gem. I think I've pronounced that right.
Gem.
Yep.
There's no other way to
Gem.
pronounce it.
Well, it could be different. I don't know. It could be something different. Dionisio. Dionisio.
Oh, that part's...
I've butchered that part, that's for sure. Sorry, Jim. Anyway, welcome. Nice to have a new person on Fan Frenzy. It has a profile picture of the Le Mans winning Ferrari. Good car. Question, just some short questions. So, dud, Ferrari strategy, poor for science. Agree there. 3, 2, and 1. Max drove flawlessly. I was expecting some carnage with Leclerc, to be honest. 2, same with Leclerc, but I think team orders were in effect. Interesting.
Oh.
Don't know. And 3 to Perez. Did a good job. Penalties and all. I think he's done that the other way around. I think it should be 3 to Max, 2 and 1. Do you read it as that way?
I was reading Gem as a female for starters.
There you go. And question. Why not make the track limit penalty harsher? It's not effective. That's a good point. How much harsher would you make it?
What would you look for?
Well, I don't know. Yeah.
I think it caused some dramas, didn't it?
It did cause dramas. I don't like the ideas of things like sausage curbs. I know they were thrown out. They're far too dangerous for my liking.
Well, and that's the other thing that annoys me is that the drivers want a really safe racetrack.
Yep.
So they're trying to provide a safe racetrack with the runoff.
Yep.
And then they take the piss.
Just wandering out of it, yeah.
You put gravel there and they're going to say it's unsafe.
Yeah.
You put sausage curves there and they're going to say it's unsafe.
I'm not a fan of sausage curves
I'm
at
with you
all.
as well.
I think they're incredibly dangerous.
Yeah, I'm with you. And so that's the thing, like, they're trying to make it a safe track. How much harsher would you make the penalty? Would you make it harsher?
I don't know. You could. I think
Five's pretty decent.
5's pretty decent because mid race you got to stop for your pit and do it anyway.
For a short track like
it
this
inconveniences you too.
Yep.
Any harsher, and I think it becomes absolute carnage.
Well, it already was.
It just magnified to the nth degree. Imagine a 10 or 15 second penalty.
Yep.
You'd be cycling front runners to the back of the pack. Horrendous. So I think it's the right amount of harshness.
If the drivers knew what they were about to get, do you think they would have done it again?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Because you could
It cost them some places.
Yeah, but you could be thinking ahead, couldn't you? And you'd be thinking, all right, well, I've got a 6-second lead over this car, so I can take a little bit here, and I'll get 2 seconds up the road, and then I'm going to get 5, so then I'm going to get 3.
It only equates to tenths. It doesn't equate to that much, but
it could if you're thinking ahead that much.
I heard someone say if the drivers had known what was coming their way, they wouldn't have been doing it, so they shouldn't have been doing it.
Works the other way, doesn't it? If you say you're 6 seconds behind, you know the car in front of you has got a 5-second penalty. Maybe you've only got 2 warnings, or you can just go, well, I can have another warning here, and I can gain a second, and I'm going to go off place.
I wonder how well it was communicated to the drivers that this is going to be the way they take it on.
Not sure. Good question, though. Thanks, Jem. Nice to have you on board. I look forward to a few more questions from Jem.
That was Fan Frenzy. Goodbye now.